this is Melanie, movie maven gal for Pardesi. I'm here to talk about a delightful Malayalam film, and I'm going to murder this, okay. Maheshinte Prathikaaram, okay, which basically means Mahesh's Revenge. It stars Fahadh Faasil, and I think this is my third film that I have seen him do. The most memorable for me is Bangalore Days, where I hated his character through most of the film. If you've never seen it, I'm not going to reveal why. And then there's a reveal of this huge tattoo and the backstory that goes with it, and oh my goodness. So he was great in that. I also saw the quirky film Amen, where he played a real nebbish kind of a character, and it wasn't his fault. It was just the quirkiness of the film and the way his character was written that I did not so much enjoy. But this film is my first one where he is the complete star and not part of an ensemble cast as Bangalore Days was. And I just really, really enjoyed this film so much. It's a national award winner for Malayalam films, with good reason. It is just a delight. Now, I am filming this 2 days after the gun massacre in Las Vegas. And last night, after watching news stories all day and reading about the carnage and just feeling shell-shocked myself, I needed an escape. I needed to get away from all of that horribleness. And this film gave me that. For a couple of hours, I was transported to Kerala, to this remote hill district, and it was just what I needed. The scriptwriter, Syam Pushkaran, and the director, Dileesh Pothan. Oh my goodness, what a world you have created. I felt like I actually knew all of these people that lived in this little town by the end of it. I felt like I was part of this little town, and I just loved, it wasn't just the main story of the main character. There was so many little side stories and colorful people inhabiting this town. And the amazing thing is, the beginning of the film, the title says based on a true story. I guess it was really based on something that happened in the screenwriter's village. And it just felt like this person had grown up in a place like this, and he knew these people inside and out. I'm going to do some spoilers at the end of this review, but the beginning of this review, I'm going to try to keep as spoiler-free as I can. Basically, Mahesh is set up as a character who is just going along with life. He's very passive. He just lets things happen to him. He has a long-distance relationship with a girlfriend from childhood. He owns a little photo shop where he takes passport photos. He goes to every funeral and wedding and takes candid photos for people. And he just is sailing along in life without really expending much energy. He has an elderly father who's possibly getting dementia, so he's not got a completely blissful life. He's got cares and whatever. We just meander through the first half, setting up all of these side characters and all of the stories, and I didn't mind it. This is one of the wonderful things about Malayalam films. Just setting the scene can seem like it takes a long time, but then the emotional impact is that much greater because you are just really feel like you are a part of this community. When one thing happens, how it's going to ripple through the whole community and affect different people in different ways. I thought the supporting cast was almost uniformly excellent, especially his friend Baby, who owns the printing shop next door to his photo store, is played by Alencier Lopez. He was great. I think I've seen him before, but I recognize the face, but I'm not exactly sure from what.
Ara? Crispin.
Gypsy.
Crispy.
Gypsy.
Crispy.
Soubin Shahir plays this character Crispin, who was just, I've seen him someplace before. Maybe he was in Classmates or something. I don't know. I know I've seen that face before, but anyway, They were both really, really good. And one of the best things about the script is that the two women in Mahesh's life, at the beginning, he has this long distance girlfriend who comes back to the town because of a funeral. She is given the choice of an arranged marriage that her family is presenting to her as another option with an NRI. And what I loved was she was given complete autonomy in her choice of what she was going to do. And then there is another young woman that Mahesh meets, and that is played by this fresh young face. The actress's name is Aparna Bellamurali. Oh my gosh, what a spitfire. I love spunky women characters, and she just had this fresh look to her, and she was amazing. And she had so much spunk. She told it like it was to Mahesh, and she laid it on the line, and she just expressed what she wanted. You know, she said, "Are you brave enough to love me?" And I just loved that. This whole film felt very natural. And at one point, you know, there was a couple of montage songs. And one very clever thing is she is such a colorful character in herself, is that all of a sudden there's a big flash mob number that she leads in the middle of the town square. Well, it's completely in character for her that she would do a flash mob. And that was a way to kind of get a big production number into an otherwise very natural feeling film. And still, it wasn't like the flash mob, like she was changing costumes 50 times or whatever. At one point she puts on sunglasses, that's it. But it was just delightful. It was just delightful. The music, the cinematography, I mean, you can't help, this part of Kerala is just so gorgeous. But it was really just all around a quality film. And I really like Fahadh's character and what the development that he goes through. So you have this very natural, gentle story happening. And then there are two fight scenes that punctuate and just they feel even more intense. And they were very real feeling. This was not the kind of thing where, like, you know, people are flying through the air or whatever. This was real fighting. And the second fight was so intense. I thought somebody's bones had broken. Like, I cried out. My son came running out of his room. Oh, it's just a movie. Because, I mean, he thought something had happened to me because I just was like so wrapped up in this story that I thought somebody's leg had really broken. I was just like, ah. All right, so to talk about the rest of this film, I'm going to have to go a little bit into spoilers. So at this point, just know I love this film. If you want to just transport yourself to Kerala and see a really great Malayalam film, you cannot go wrong with this film. Okay, last warning, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Okay, one thing I loved in the setup to the conflict was that one little argument that is resolved by calling someone in America, and then everyone's bad temper, it goes from one, it was like a bad temper that gets caught, but then the next person they run into, and then the next, and it's one argument after another, and then somebody runs into a bike, and then this, and then this, and then this, which finally ends up in this brawl that is right before the interval point. And that's when Mahesh is hit by this rowdy, thrown into the bar of the rickshaw, and literally hit over the head, you know, finally like comes to his senses. And that's the interval point. And he decides, I am not going to wear shoes until I get my revenge. And he literally throws his flip-flops away and walks barefoot for most of the rest of the film because he's not going to wear shoes again until he gets his revenge. Well, there's complications to that. And that's what I loved. It wasn't just a simple revenge story. It wasn't just a nebbish who gets his, finally becomes a man. I don't know. It was just so complex and so delightful. And I love the way, you just have to experience the way that it all plays out. I loved his relationship with this young actress, Aparna. You know, and the revelation of who she is and how that complicates him trying to get revenge and everything. So really big thumbs up for this film. One of, you know, the most delightful Malayalam films I've seen recently. I've got a lot of Fahadh Faasil. He's done several films in the last couple of years that I'm trying to catch up on. I've got a lot to catch up on, but I will be watching more of his films because, wow, he just did such a great job in this film. And so did the director. I'm looking forward to seeing more films by this director because it was such a carefully crafted story and a world that I really enjoyed escaping into for a few hours. Let me know in the comments if you've seen this film and if you found it just as delightful as I did. Let me know what other films by Fahadh Faasil are your favorites, and has this director done any other films that I should look for, because I was really impressed. I was really impressed with this film. So looking forward to your thoughts in the comments. If you'd like this video, please share, press the like button, and subscribe. And follow us on Twitter at PardesiYT.